This episode is brought to you by America's Rehab Campus. Get on the road to recovery with the best rehab in beautiful Arizona. Dial 1-833-272-7342. That's 1-833-ARC-REHAB.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the ARCast.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world listening to this. This is the ARCast. My name is Booda, and today, guys, man, I gotta show gratitude to God today. Being able to work here and see some of the clients that come through here, and when they leave, the amazing things that they start doing within the community, man. It's a beautiful thing. Staying connected on Facebook, social media. And the other day, I'm on Facebook and I'm doing my thing. A gentleman that, you know, I would see him around every now and then. We chopped it up every now and then. But, bro, this dude graduated and he hit the ground 150 miles an hour running, doing fantastic. He's been on his grind. He started his own podcast called Breaking Chains with Rock. It's incredible. We're going to put all of his links and everything in the show notes of this episode so you guys can go check him out. You guys can share it with your friends and family. But it is an honor today to have my brother in the studio with me. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up to our homeboy, Rock Nunez. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. I'm feeling great. I'm real grateful to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Booda.
Yes, sir.
First off, I want to thank God for this opportunity. Without him, I would be nothing. And second, I want to thank the ARC for being the foundation to this new beginning.
That's awesome. Shout out to Mike Ziprich. If you're out there, brother, he is the owner of ARC. This dude is incredible. He does all of this amazing things throughout the community to try and make this place feel like home.
Absolutely. The one thing I do remember being a client here was being welcomed.
Yeah.
Because once you get here, a lot of the people, they'll tend to feel anxious, a bit scared, you know, uncomfortable. But even with that being said, my first day here, I really felt at home. You know, I knew that it was time for healing. So I embraced it, and like you said, I hit the ground running. I didn't take nothing for granted. I was all ears, dog. I mean, I sat on my hands and I just listened.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and that led to a lot of new opportunities, and it really feels good to be back, bro.
That's cool. That's awesome, man. No, it's a pleasure to have you in this podcast, Breaking Chains with Rock. That is such a great name for the podcast, man. And I mean, the very first episode did fantastic. How's that journey been for you, man?
You know, it's been something that I never imagined, because I used to be ashamed of everything that was in my past that was so dark. I used to be ashamed to be open about what really went on in my addiction, especially with having, you know, that pride problem.
Yeah.
I used to have so much pride, you know, that ego. Once I learned to throw the pride out the window, I was able to open up, and I realized, you know, being on a different path, walking with God now, that the testimony is extremely important. There's a lot of people that need to hear it. Even though we hear a lot of testimonies, sometimes different stories hit different people. Wow. So that's where it all began.
That's beautiful. And right now, I know this episode won't be out for a while, but today it is Monday, the 5th of August, right? And I saw online that you guys were getting ready to post your second episode. How many episodes have you guys recorded already so far?
Yeah, I've recorded 2. I just released my second episode. The mission is to release at least once a week.
Okay.
You know, I've been making a lot of TikToks. It's actually been something I've been focusing on 100%. You know, I really enjoy doing it. I have a lot of passion for this because it's been part of my life for the last 20 years.
Wow.
So there's a lot to be said. And through the community I've surrounded myself around, it's been real encouraging. You know, it's a lot of people that can relate, and that been in the same environment and have been broken and now these chains have been broken.
Yeah.
All these chains that used to hold me back from these opportunities have been broken, and I'm at peace, and I'm ready for what the future holds now. I'm real excited, and I can't wait to see what tomorrow holds.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Hey, for anyone listening, the 2 episodes. I mean, I'm telling you, the first one got so much traction, and he's killing it. He's got the video, he's got everything. It was an incredible episode. The first one, I haven't had a chance to check the second one, but it just shows that God is with you guys, man. Because you said it's a small team, but the way that people were gravitating towards it, even the young lady up front that I just met was like, "Who's coming? Who's the guest today?" I told her it's gonna be Rock Nunez, and big old smile on her face, bro. She said she had seen some of the clips, started sharing it. So we're gonna hopefully, man, we'll get those numbers up a little bit too. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Like you said, it's a 2-man team. But that's how a lot of things start,
Yep.
A lot of these big stories start off in a basement or a little room, so I can relate. And what I've learned though is just having that drive, the only thing that can stop you is that negativity. I'm ready, bro, and I appreciate the opportunity to come, and I'm learning some things already as I'm sitting here with you, watching how you do your thing and the success that the ARCast has been through, and I know there's a lot more to come.
Heck yeah, man. Well, hey, dude, typical fashion of the ARCast, it's all about sharing the testimony, opening up about things that we've experienced. We go into the weeds a little bit. We go into the flowers too, where you're at now today, but in hopes that whoever is listening on that other end is going to take something amazing from your story, right? That's what it's all about, that your testimony is going to help change somebody's lives. So let's start from the beginning, Rock. I want to start from the beginning. Little tiny rock, bro. Pebble, all right? We'll start from the beginning. Where are you from, homie? Where were you born?
I was born in Douglas, Arizona, bro.
Douglas,
but I was brought to Tucson when I was only a few months old.
Okay.
So I consider myself a local for sure.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm 39 years old. I just turned 39 about a week ago.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yes. So just to be able to say I'm 39 and been through everything I've been through, it puts a smile on my face. I have a lot of friends that have been through I won't say the exact same journey, but similar journeys that didn't make it past 30, some of them didn't make it past 25, so I'm happy, bro.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, brother. I'm very happy. And, so you are a local for sure. You came here at such a young age. What was your family dynamic, brother? Did you have both of your parents growing up?
I was blessed to have both my parents, and my parents are divorced, but they still have a good relationship, and that's what I like to tell people is, not everybody that has been part of the addiction process comes from a broken home.
Yep.
I came from a loving home.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, the love that my home provided was overwhelming, bro. The support they provided was overwhelming. I mean, I want to say I had a perfect childhood.
That's great.
Even through the problems and trials and tribulations and all that. I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything better. And even though I came from that background, I still fell. I mean, there's a huge story behind that, and it has nothing to do with my upbringing. Okay. But that just shows you that you can come from a loving background and still fall to this dark side.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna get into it, man. And you're absolutely right. It comes in so many different shapes and forms. It's completely different. It's for every single person. When you were coming up as a young boy, like you said, your house was filled with love. You had this amazing family. Were you an only child? Did you have any siblings as well?
Yes, I have a younger sister. She's 5 years younger than me, and her name's Claudia Nunez.
Shout out
to my sister. I love you. Thank you for all your support.
All right. And how was it growing up with, like, as far as your academics and stuff? Were you a good student?
Man, let me tell you, I was a straight A student, bro.
Dang.
Okay. I was basically, I didn't get my first B till like 10th grade, and I didn't get my first C till like 11th grade.
Wow,
Okay.
really?
So, and I graduated, I was one credit short of graduating with honors. And that was due to the counselors. They messed up on my scheduling in the beginning of the year. And they told me, you take these courses, because I took honors classes in high school. And when it came down to it, I thought I was going to get the sash, the yellow sash.
Yeah.
And I was one credit short.
Oh,
But I mean, it didn't bother me. I still graduated like top 15%, I want to say.
that's great.
You
though.
know, like, and that's due to my parents, being there, pushing me, trying to get me to my full potential.
Did you do sports? Anything like that?
Oh, bro, I boxed from the age of 12 to about 16, 17. I played baseball, soccer, and basketball growing up.
Wow. How long did you keep boxing for? Just those few years?
Yeah, we would always fight in the backyard and in the front yard, me and all my neighborhood friends here in South Tucson, Desert Shadows. We would have boxing tournaments. I remember my mom's carport being all full of blood. She'd get home yelling at me.
Remember backyard wrestling back in
Bro,
the day?
it was like that, but with gloves, bro.
That's crazy.
And we would just put names in a hat and then pick out the opponents.
It just start scrapping right there.
Yeah, bro. So I literally, like, man, if I could describe my childhood, bro, I'll say the Sandlot.
That's cool. That's a good childhood.
Bro, I'm telling you, we would go to Desert Shadows Park and play home run derby and just talk smack to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes there'll be 20 of us out there,
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. Like my upbringing, bro, it's the greatest memories, bro.
That's awesome.
It's the greatest memories. So, that's why it's so important, to, raise your children the way my parents raised me. Because without that kind of love, when I fell, I wouldn't have been able to bounce back the way I did.
That's biblical too.
Bro, that backbone was incredible.
Yeah.
It's real. That's why I tip my hat to all those people in recovery that don't have that support and are still pushing.
Pobrecitos.
God bless you, man. We rooting for you.
Whew, absolutely, man. So I mean, I'm picturing, like you said, the Sandlot. I'm thinking about, you have your friends. You're out there. You're doing all this cool stuff. Were you ever into gangbanging, anything like that, or did you stay away from that when you were a young kid?
This is the crazy part, bro. I lived in a neighborhood where there was a bunch of gangs. There was a bunch of drug dealers, and a lot of these people were my friends. And the crazy part I would be in a table at a friend's house, and they'd be chopping up drugs, and I'm right there doing my homework.
Wow.
But at the same time, I had no idea that I was just creating, basically getting molded into it little by little.
That's scary.
I would be scared to like touch the drugs and to do them, but I was part of that environment, and it became like a norm for me, because my friends were selling drugs at 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
And smoking weed and all that stuff. And I would be scared to do that. Plus my boxing coach wouldn't let me, he would find out, and I was real disciplined, you know what I'm saying? But it was all around me, bro. And I didn't get into any of that gang stuff or things like that until, I want to say I was about like 19, 20 years old.
Wow.
I didn't realize that I was part of a gang, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we were a big old gang just out there doing what we weren't supposed to be doing.
And it's so true. I applaud the fact that you had this amazing discipline. That's one of the things that, I look at my wife and how she is with our kids. I never had that type of encouragement because, my mom and single family homes type of thing. It's almost like when Pac says mom made miracles every Thanksgiving, I'm saying? It really was like that. My mom was always struggling with stuff. But she always says that was one of the best things that her parents ever did was keep the kids busy and keep them in activities and things like that because it kept them out of trouble. But even with that, I'm saying? That you could still get molded little by little, and that's what was going on with you.
Yes, it happened out of nowhere too. I went on to Phoenix College when I was 18, but I had just shattered my spine.
Ooh.
So I went, check this out, bro. I had cervical fusion my 18th birthday on July 30th, and I started college a month later. All right. Heavily medicated, bro. You know what I'm saying? They put a metal plate in my spine. They put screws. They put pins, they put bars. I mean, I was so, basically, I was in so much pain, I had to get one of those backpacks with wheels on them.
Really, man?
You know, heavily medicated. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So my whole world got flipped upside down when I was 18, when the doctors first got me on pain meds, because it was an overwhelming amount of prescription medication, right? And instead of like tapering me off, they were just dumping more on me, bro.
That breakthrough pain, bro.
And it's incredible the feeling that feeling you get when you have real pain and you start taking these painkillers and you're at ease. You know, so you become accustomed to feeling okay on painkillers instead of, you know, let's deal with the pain and gradually taper off so you don't have to live, you know, being addicted to these things. I didn't know what addiction was, bro.
Man.
Because I didn't even smoke weed, you know, in my teens, you know. I mean, in high school, like, there was some house parties where I would have some alcoholic beverages or whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
But, and I think I smoked weed once or twice, you know, in my teens, you know what I'm saying? But once I got on those pain meds and I found out what a withdrawal was, I didn't know what to do.
So a couple questions, just going back a little bit. When it comes to like your family dynamic, was there ever addiction in your family that you saw growing up? Other, like, not your homies, not that type of stuff, but in your actual family, did anyone struggle with that?
I never saw my dad struggle with alcohol because he was such a hard worker.
Okay.
So I didn't see it as an addiction, you know, because there was no way of me seeing my dad as a drunk, because he never got wasted like that. But now that I'm older, I just know that he basically was so immune to the alcohol, you know, he just knew how to be basically calm. You know, he never, you know, my dad never beat my mom. I'm lucky, you know, because a lot of parents that grow up with alcoholic family members, the domestic violence is for sure, you know, and my dad was able to control that part. But I didn't see a problem because not only did he have 9 to 5, but he would always pick me up from school when he could, or whenever he wasn't working, drop me off, or he would take me to baseball practice or basketball practice or boxing practice, and he would stick around these practices. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now that I'm on this side, I'm like, damn, my dad was heavily addicted. You know what I mean? And I just, like I said, that's why it was such a loving home. He was able to control it to a certain degree.
Yeah, and I think that's like a culture thing too. If your dad's a hard worker, was he out in the sun doing that type of stuff? I think of like so many of my tios fit that same characteristic where it's like, you know, it's just like a habit. Get home on not even on a Friday. It's just typically you get home, you have a couple beers, and you just always see them with that all the time, and you never see. Really, there's never really a head change or there's not a change in them because they're so immune to doing it, just consistency little by little, that it's like it doesn't even faze them. And it's like they're drinking a soda or tea or something, like it doesn't even affect them.
Yeah, it doesn't, you know, and now that I'm older, I do see that, especially people that work in construction, right? They'll be like, I deserve this beer, you know? But in the back of their head, I mean, not in the back of their head, but basically their mind is saying, you're withdrawing. You need this beer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, okay, you deserve it, but your body's telling you, you need this right now.
Yeah, that's all perspective. This is true, though.
And it's, you know, and see, the alcohol part, it's, you know, you might be able to manage it, but when something happens in your life, like a death in the family or just something that stresses you out, you're going to start drinking more or stronger alcohol. And that's when it unravels, you know? So everybody has a time where, you know, whatever they're addicted to, something's going to happen. And you're not going to be able to control it at all, bro.
Bro, so deep. That is so deep. You guys rewind back and listen to that one more time. That is 100% true, man. And it's crazy because, you know, I start thinking even about what you said, how you were molded little by little. It's like a seed. It's just planted right until the right time, and then it just blooms out of control and starts taking over your life. You said 18 years old is when you had this surgery, your 18th birthday, July 30th, right? What happened that you had to get that surgery? Was it a car accident? What was going on?
Yeah, I was in very bad rollover. Okay. And basically, when that happened, I stopped boxing. I couldn't box no more. You know, I used to box at Centro del Sur Aslan Gym in South Tucson.
That sounds serious, bro.
Hey, bro, check this out. World-class trainers.
Wow.
I used to, basically, we had a bunch of amateur fights that weren't really, they weren't like taped or anything like that, you know, but I was doing extremely well. Okay.
Wow.
And I used to run from my house, Desert Shadows, to Aslan Gym, you know, a few miles away. And then from there, we would run to A Mountain through the Santa Cruz River and back. Before that, I had soccer practice. And then after the running, I would box. You know what I mean? So I was running about 12, 15 miles a day. You know, my coach is like, you want to be a world champion? You want to go 12 rounds? You better run a mile for every round. And then I took that to heart, and we started doing it, me and a couple of my buddies, you know. And it was all a part of that discipline, you know what I mean? And so like all that, that's why coaches in the community for the youth is so important. All of that's still in me, bro.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's still in me. So I take that with me wherever I go.
I think that's a beautiful thing. I see it with my son, and this is the first experience for me. He's a 49ers 10U, right? Sawarita. And every time I see him with the coaches, bro, it's like, it's a blessing. It's like, thank God that there's these good male figures that are teaching him this discipline too, on top of everything that we're trying to instill in him too, because it's like you said, hopefully when they get older, they won't fall too far away from it, because those words of encouragement are going to be right there at the tip of their head. You know what I'm saying? Well, going back to this injury, I mean, the medication played a role. Like you said, they gave you all of these medications, but how did your mental health struggling at this time, brother? I'm sure the depression of feeling like your career was going to end or something like that, especially when you're as active as you were, doing as much as you were, and then all of a sudden, boom, rock stops. You know what I'm saying? How did that take a toll on your mental health?
Man, I had to think about that one, because you're right. You know, I was thriving. And when that happened to me, it was just complete darkness. The doctor told me, basically, you're not going to be able to do A, B, C, D. And you know what I'm saying? The whole alphabet type deal. You won't be able to lift more than 10 pounds. You know what I mean? You won't be able to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he put limits to me, and I took that to heart. You know, I'm not saying don't listen to your doctor, but you'll be surprised how the human body recuperates if you let it.
Yeah.
You know? And that was my problem. I didn't let it recuperate. You know, I was 18 years old. I had never broken anything, and I shattered my spine the first time I broke anything. So I was unaware of how important it is to heal correctly. And once they got me on these pain medications, and I went to Phoenix College, I was living on campus at ASU campus, and I met some youngsters there from Virginia, and they had a family in Tucson, and we had a quick conversation, and they moved me into their dorm, bro.
Wow.
Their dads were millionaires, right? And they're like, bro, we love you, come through. And I'm like, okay. So one thing led to another. And because I was so intoxicated, bro, on these pain medications, I wasn't really concentrating on my schooling, on my education.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I'm young, you know, I was like, I can make up this year later. Like, it was that bad. They had me so heavily medicated, it took over my way of thinking. It was my first time on pain meds. They put me on 30 milligram oxycodones and 15 milligram oxycodones. They put me on 40 milligram oxycontins. They put me on somas, Valiums.
This is all simultaneously.
Yes, bro. You know what I mean? And I had never taken anything like this, so I was walking numb, you know, and...
Jeez, how horrible. I mean, and I don't know, dog, this is a whole different, you know, conversation too with that, but I think about, I had a nana. Rest in peace to my nana. She passed away in 2020 within a couple months of each other. All of a sudden, she goes to the doctor to get checked out. She's stage 4 breast cancer. One last Thanksgiving with us, and she was gone, bro. She was gone. And all I keep thinking is like, especially at 18 years old, you're so young, you're so impressionable still. If a doctor tells you, yo, Rock, you can't do A, B, and C, and D anymore, right? What's your number one thing that you're gonna think? Because you're kind of like you're going to trust your doctor because that's what we're brought up to. This person went to medical school for 20 some years. They obviously know what they're talking about. So whatever medication you give me, these aren't illicit street drugs. This is stuff that's prescribed from a healthcare professional that's supposed to have your best interest and your best health in mind, right? And it's to give somebody that young that much of medication. I agree 100%. And not saying not to trust your doctor, but bro, God gave you a brain for a reason, and Google too. Like, do your research on something, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. At the time, I had no idea because it was that whole opiate epidemic or pandemic, whatever you want to call it. So now I see that these doctors, well, I'm saying certain doctors were doing it for their own benefit because it was bringing them income. You understand? And there's proof of this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's compensation for this.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they literally put limits to my success. And I was vulnerable, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that's crazy.
I was just a little pup, bro. And I'm just, you know, and I think about it, you know, a lot of people will be looking at that past, right? And making excuses to be miserable, self-pity and all that. But the things I've overcome, I'm telling you, I didn't even know I was depressed, bro, because I had never been depressed.
Ooh.
To me, it was just, you know what? The pills took the depression away.
You said numbing.
You know what I'm saying? So right when I got that surgery, they put so much medication in me. I didn't feel the depression until they cut me off my script. So once they had me hooked like a junkie, bro, I felt the whole depression instantly. Broken as can be, bro. With all the support, all the love. It didn't matter, you know?
That's deep. I love the way that you articulate your feelings, bro. Like I'm so happy you got your podcast. It's going to be fantastic. I'm telling you, you know, how did your parents react to this, man? Like, seeing their young boy like that, did they realize it was as bad? Did you even realize it was as bad, or did none of that picture fully developed until that script was cut off?
Honestly, so the surgery, you know, I shattered my C3 and C4, which is pretty high up your spine. Like, you shatter C2, you might be paralyzed. C1, you might die. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's pretty high up there. So my parents knew that I was in pain. They saw me wake up from surgery and all that stuff. It felt like somebody got a hammer and just went at my neck, bro. When I woke up from surgery.
God, that's horrible.
You know what I mean? In between your spine, you have fluid. And my C3 and C4 were crushed. So it was bone rubbing on bone. Feel me? So that's why they had to put all that hardware. And once they installed the hardware, our bodies are not made to have metal in them. So it was rejecting it, of course, you know. So my parents were like, you know, well, there's an understanding why he's on so much medication. And once the pain goes away, then, you know what I mean, we'll be able to manage it better. But they had no education on addiction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because they had never been through anything like this. So they didn't know any better. So I definitely didn't know any better.
You said that the doctor cut you off. Was this just an abrupt change? Like, was this when things started getting regulated that they just decided, you know, your script's getting cut off?
Well, the crazy part is once I got cut off, once you're put in that survival mode, you do whatever it takes to get more, right? So I found more doctors.
Wow.
I was able to jump in with doctors and manipulate them. Man, let me tell you, there were some doctors that were like, I won't take patients under 30. I got in. I was able to get my way in, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had medical records up the yin yang, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to smooth talk these doctors, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to say any names, but I went through so many different doctors. So basically, if I got cut off right away, I was able to find a doctor within a day or two.
Wow.
Because it was all about the money. You know what I'm saying? I remember these lines outside these clinics were just ridiculous, bro. These doctors were jam-packed. And I'm sure we've seen these videos and they've made movies about it. That movie, Painkiller. And you know what I'm saying?
Dope sick.
Bro, those movies hit me deep. I was in the middle of all of that. I lived through all of that. And so did a lot of my people, you know? So yeah, bro, I remember them cutting me off, and then when they really cracked down on that, when it was really hard to get medication from a doctor, that's when I switched to heroin.
Wow. And at that point, were you afraid of trying those types of drugs since you had no experience with them, or was the desperation of needing to feel better just so high that it didn't even matter at that point?
That part.
Yeah.
I was desperate, I was desperate. There was a time, and it's crazy now that I think about it, I was taking 30 milligram oxycodones a day. 40. And these are the American ones. Okay. 40 of them, bro, a day. And then that's not like, there was days where I took 40 of those and probably like 10, 15 milligram oxycodones. Right. Wow. And then eventually they gave me those medications and 80 milligram Oxycontin with fentanyl patches. I was getting fentanyl patches when I was 25 years old. They're 72-hour patches. You slap them on like your rib cage or whatever. Then you're popping pills at the same time, So when I got cut off from all of that, I can't explain, bro, how your body shuts down. So the desperation to try something like heroin, it didn't scare me. There was no fear. Because I knew that it was in the same family, opioid family. So I was willing to do whatever it took to feel, I wouldn't say back to normal, but to take that sickness away.
And at this time, you said that your education had gone down the tubes, right? You were struggling with that. Were you working? Were you able to hold a job, or were you just home?
Well, honestly, there was times where I would have like a run where I would have a job, I worked for the city of Tucson.
Yeah.
I worked for the state. I was an employee at DES, bro.
Wow.
Little caseworker there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I was able to get some pretty good jobs, but like we said, something happened during that little time frame, right? That stressed me out, right? And I had to increase the dosages where maybe I took my script too fast and my doctor's like, you ain't getting no more. So boom, then I became an alcoholic.
Ooh.
Bro, yes. There was, in this whole 20 years of my addiction, I was an alcoholic. I was addicted to cocaine. I was addicted to meth. I was addicted to heroin. I was addicted to opioids. I was addicted to benzos.
I know you've referred a couple times to a situation and you said it earlier, when people experience a loss or there's something really traumatic that happens, it takes your usage to a whole nother level because of the stress, because of the depression. The situation that you're referring to, is that something you'd be willing to elaborate on a little bit, or I'm just curious.
Well, tell you the truth, sometimes it was simple things like if I had a girlfriend and there was a breakup.
Okay.
That right there, dog.
Okay.
And you know what? Sometimes I would feel embarrassed to talk about that. But the more I would come to different rehabs, because trust me, I went to detoxes. I went to different rehabs and whatnot, And, I'm honored to say that the ARC did it for me.
Yeah.
Shout out to the ARC.
Heck yeah. Shout out to
for real, dog.
Yeah, and I apologize. I know I'm not too good at asking those questions because I know sometimes not all of the weeds and all of that bad stuff that we go through needs to be spoken about, right? Because we all experience traumas. But my whole thing was just like, if it was something relatable to the listener that would be able to strike a chord with them, like, oh yeah, I've been through this, or I've lost this person, or whatever it may be. So thank you for opening up about that, man, and being transparent. But yeah, I completely get it. So just something like that. And it's not a simple thing. The breakups are probably one of the biggest triggers for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's at the time, especially being under the influence, you get with somebody and you forget about the whole reason you you get a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time that I was doing these drugs, the only reason I had different girlfriends was it was convenient for both of us in our usage. There wasn't really no real love there, bro.
Yeah.
I could say that I have love for them, and at the time I said I was in love with them. But if I was sober, would I feel the same? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why it's extremely important for people to stay sober and work on themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and this time around, I didn't do that. You know, I got into like a relationship, and she's a great person. You know, there's nothing wrong with her. You know, but I just knew there came a time where I was like, you know what, I'm getting ahead of myself. I know better.
Smart.
That conviction, you know, I mean, to all the believers out there, you know, Holy Spirit activated, bro.
That's it.
Straight up.
And that could, you know, those situations too, especially when it's incredible how the enemy works, right? You're using, you have other people around you that are using. It could easily complicate even more having a baby with this person, and then you know all those struggles that come from that situation. You know, was that ever part of your testimony? Did you have any children or anything at this time, or was it just you still by yourself at this time?
I had my first child at 21.
Okay.
And like I said, I didn't know any better, you know.
Yeah.
She's a blessing. Everything now is a blessing. You know, at the time, you're excited about it, but then when it gets real, it stresses you out, you know.
Yeah.
And that was I think that was one of the first times where I was like, man, you know, I broke up with the mom when she was a baby, like not even like one, you know. So that was like my first real breakup. And, you know, I'd seen a lot of people leave the rehab because their better half or whatnot that's not at the rehab is giving them a hard time, and they're stressed out, and they're scared to break up with him. So they feel like they got to be there with him instead of acknowledging the fact that me not being well isn't going to do us well. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, I had a couple talks with a couple people here that were like, I'm leaving. And they're like, my boyfriend needs me. I'm like, you need you.
That's real.
You need you. And it took me a very long time to realize it. So I get it. You know, I don't, you know, try to talk too much down their throat, but I'm going to say something, bro, because I'm 39 years old now.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got some experience, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something that now I feel like I'm not entitled to it, but it's something that I feel like I was put on this path for, is to try to encourage people that get discouraged from the smallest things.
That's real.
People relapse for the smallest reasons. That's why it's so important to start your day joyful. Joyful, bro. You know, like sometimes we wake up a little cranky or whatever, but find something to make you joyful. I wake up in prayer, gratitude every morning.
Amen.
You know, get my cup of Joe, and I stay connected, bro. You have to stay connected every single day. It's so important. Simple, right? One day at a time. Make sure your day goes well. And if it doesn't go well, make sure you end it well. You know what I'm saying? You can have a terrible day, but end it well, man.
Very wise, brother. Wise. God is with you, man. It's awesome. You know, the words that you're speaking, it's so true. For anyone out there, if you're in a relationship too, that's one of the biggest things that I see here. People that are struggling with their boyfriends or girlfriends. It's like when you're in a relationship with somebody, you know, it says in the Bible, two people come and they become one flesh, right? Your opposite person should be there to encourage you and want you to be clean and want you to be, you know, the best version of yourself. I remember being a tech on the floor in the phone room. We had a phone room at the time on this side, and you know, we'd have people come in and out. So I would be talking, no, hey, they're on the phone. Come back in 5 minutes. Come back. And I remember one woman was on the phone with her man, brother, and I just remember her being like, no, there's no other guys here. It's the tech. He's just here. No. And dude, she ended up hanging up that phone, and because this fool was celoso, she left, homie. Never saw her again. And all I kept thinking was like, what kind of man is that, brother? Your wife is here. You have children. Right now, his job is supposed to be home to be taking care of these babies while mom is getting better. So that way the unit is stronger and better and full of that, you know what I'm saying? Of that love. And it's crazy how people can get intercepted like that and taken away.
Yeah, it's critical, man, because, you know, this whole addiction process, once you get sober, a lot of people that get sober for the first time, they feel like, you know, like they're done, you know? And I'm like, you better hold on, man. You're about to feel all these emotions, you know? And just because you're physically sober, your mind is still healing. And, you know, you got to be prepared for a lot of basically like your body's going to give you anxiety, bro.
Ooh.
Just naturally anxiety. You know, people come and, you know, when they leave, they're on a pink cloud. And sometimes the day they leave rehab, they're so used to the schedule here and having all this support in this bubble, especially here at the ARC. You know, it was a beautiful thing. You know, honestly, it was one of the best experiences of my life, bro. I remember being here with people and they had nothing negative to say. And I had to say something. You know, I said, perspective, brother, you know, or sister, perspective, you know. I'm going to tell you right now, when I was here, I would tell them, you know, 2 months ago, I was so far gone. You know, the last person you would expect here trying to motivate others was me. But I was open to the fact that there's people here that care and want better for you.
Yep. That's awesome. That's so awesome, man. And take us back to that moment. I know you said that you came in here 3 times, like on your own to get clean.
Well, twice I didn't make it past the detox.
Okay.
Which is usually like 3 to 5 days or whatnot.
Yeah.
And see, I'm so glad you brought this up. Those 2 times that I admitted myself here at the ARC to the detox, I came with a girlfriend.
Ooh, okay.
So check this out. This is huge. I came with a girlfriend, right? And if you want to know about how your better half is doing while you're both admitted here, you have to sign the waiver, right? To be able to communicate with them or whatnot. I didn't know about that. So we both admitted ourselves, right? And I'm like, I'll see you when we get sent to, what is it called? Residential. I'll see you there in 3 to 5 days. Just stay strong, you know? So I'm here and I was trying to be on the Vivitrol shot. So they're like, no Suboxone.
Ooh.
You're going to have to go 7 days sober completely off of all these things I was on. I was like, I wouldn't be able to go 2 hours. So I lasted 2 days here, right? And with all the anxiety, all the depression, all the withdrawals, I'm like, she left. I know she did. And guess what? I checked out.
That's the enemy dude talking to
you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was right. She left like 5 hours before I did, bro.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, bro.
I thought maybe she was here.
No, but you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Why? Because I wasn't concentrating on myself. I was more worried about her, bro. You know, because I was so used to being around her, and you know that part where like you're like she's gonna run off, and you know it's just the wrong. I was in the wrong environment. I had no business being with somebody like that if we were both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that happened the second time too. The second time I lasted 4 days. And so I was almost there, right? So I felt better, right? But out of nowhere, like your body's just gonna break down. You know, you're gonna get struck with anxiety that you cannot control if you don't have the necessary tools to cope with that. Yeah. So I left, and she had checked out like an hour before me, bro. What are the chances,
man?
But the day I came, right, with nobody else.
This last time.
Yes, I didn't come with a girlfriend or a wife or whatnot. It was just me, bro. That's what it took for me.
And what was the situation that made you, before you came in these doors this third time, were you already like, I'm done? This is never happening? Or did that change happen once you were here as a client?
Oh, bro, I was incarcerated, right? Uh-huh. I thought I was facing all these charges or whatnot. I was on the run, so they finally got me. You know, unfortunately, I've been arrested about 24, 25 times. Feel me? And so this last time, I'm sitting in my jail cell, right? And I have a visit, and I go talk to this lady, and she's like, hey, I'm from this program, and it's the early release program. And I'm like, what? And she's like, obviously you told us you had problems, the issues with substance abuse. Would you like treatment, or do you want to do your time? You know what I'm saying? Literally, they provided me 2 options, bro. And right there and then, I did not hesitate. I said, sign me up. She told me, you have court in 2 days. You're going to the ARC rehab. You'll be there in 48 hours. I said, run that.
Wow.
Yeah, I never had been so excited to get help, And man, I was incarcerated for like 45 days, and then this happens to me.
Man.
You know what? And I'm a true, firm believer that there was people out there praying for me, bro.
Amen.
Praying for me. And I'm not talking about one, I mean groups of people.
Wow.
And now I know because I've met a lot of them, and they'll say simple things that humble me, bro. They'll be like, we were praying for you. And this is like a lot of people, bro. That really struck me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you came here, you did the court, and you stayed here for detox and residential IOP. You stayed, how long were you here?
I was here, I think 131 days.
Up until that point, hearing God's voice, was that something that was a common thing for you, or had you kind of been tuning it out? Like, did it finally reach you in your heart and your soul that last time you were here? Did you hear God moving in your heart and soul?
Yes, I did. And man, it's crazy how God works, because we had a little Bible study at the hotel.
Okay.
Check it out. It was only like 3 of us out of everybody, bro. There is like, well, how many people at the hotel site?
Real.
There's like 70 people or something like that at the hotel site. And there was only like 3 of us. And this is a trip. The 2 people besides me that invited me to Bible study, they relapsed. But they brought me closer to God, bro. Even though I had my community, on the streets that been saved, that went to different churches. It's now Zion City.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love Zion City.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, shout out to Zion City. Shout out to Agape. Shout out to all those churches. You know what I mean? Just shout out to everybody on the God Squad. Real talk. And these 2 people that brought me into the Bible study really got me locked in. And what a trip that I know for a fact that they relapsed. So, you know what I'm saying? I still trip out about that, because they were the foundation to that, bro. I remember opening up the Bible, and they're like, start out with reading Psalms. And I fell in love with it, bro. It spoke to me. Like, I used to like listen to people talk like the Bible will speak to you. I'd be like, the Bible's boring. It don't even have pictures.
Yeah, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? It really takes a God shot, bro. It really does, because I opened the Bible and it was speaking to me, bro. It brought wisdom to my life. Like, I was so mindful after that, bro. Extremely mindful. I was really, I would see people and I could just see who was broken. I could see it, bro. I'm like walking around and I'm like, this person needs a hug, or come, let me chop it up with you real quick, and not trying to force it down their throat. I was able to navigate my words correctly.
Wow, that's incredible. So it reminds me of Jesus speaking in parables, right? Where he's talking about the sower, like I don't know the exact scripture off top, but the story where God's talking, and people are like, what is he talking about, right? And there's a few of them that are hearing it, and it's transforming them because they're actually understanding what Jesus is saying, and these other people are not. They don't get it. And it's like, and it's true in that sense of like, when you are ready, or when God is ready for you, maybe, you know what I'm saying? He finally allows you to hear it.
Well,
and I mean that, like, I don't mean just hear it. I mean, hear it, like open your heart to it.
Yeah, he's been ready for us. It was my part. I had to fully surrender. I fully surrendered, bro. I remember having a conversation with God, and I told God, I said, I know you're real because I'm still here, But if I'm due for greatness, just speak to me, speak to me. I'm willing to give up everything that I believe was for my own entertainment. I'm done being selfish. And that's when everything changed. the obedience part, there's a lot of things I do slip on, sometimes I still use cuss words or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to transform a lot of things, bro. See, now I realize my mind is the soil, and conversations and music are the seeds. You got to be careful what you listen to. You got to be careful when people are glorifying things that are not for you. Because we're so caught up in this world, and people, they want to be part of what's trending. They don't want to be different. You know what I mean? All this music that's glorifying violence, drug usage, being disrespectful to men and women. And we grew up in that environment. That's all we know, because we didn't have any guidance.
Yeah.
God knows your heart, and it's true. I hear music like that, and just because I don't choose to listen to it, if I hear it in the background, I'm still like singing it. And you know what I'm saying? And that tells you how much impact it really has on us. My nephews and nieces or whatnot, they're really young, and they'll be eating dinner, and then they'll repeat little verses of songs, and I'm like, repeat what you just said with no beat, so you can hear what you're saying. Are you really about that, or are you posing?
Yeah.
I was at a men's group, at Zion City, beta men's group, and we were talking about that, being a poser. I was a poser my whole life, trying to fit in somewhere.
Me too, bro.
Because that's what I thought was good for me. I had to be a part of something. I was posing, bro. I was a poser.
Yeah. It's very, very true, and it's getting scarier too, man. Like, not to go off topic too much, but it really is scary raising kids in this modern day and age with this social media stuff. I mean, the internet was bad enough, bro, and having the phone in your pocket and all these kids scrolling, and it's rough. It's a rough world. So, gotta pray for all the young kids out there. I know a lot of them are just starting school. Like I said, it's the beginning of August. It's probably gonna be out a lot later, but we gotta send a prayer to all those kids out there, man, for real.
Most definitely. One thing I want to start off the school year with is trying to get them to basically do something simple as like writing a journal, even if it's a paragraph a day, so they can see how they're growing every day. So I started writing a journal, and it's crazy. Not only is it like self-reflection, but you see your growth on paper.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because before I started the podcast, it was I was writing. I said, man, I got some goals I want to accomplish, and I just need help because I don't have all the resources. But that's not gonna stop me from pursuing what I'm pursuing. And then I get a messenger click from one of my boys, and he's like, hey, we should start a podcast. I'm like, no way, bro.
That's awesome.
You know what I'm saying? And man, you of all people know how much time and effort it takes to do these podcasts.
Yeah, it does.
And it's something that you need to love doing. I love doing it now, even though I just started. So I can imagine how it makes you feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great thing to feel. My experience with this type of stuff was me being in the music industry for a while, or trying really hard to be in the music industry. But the difference was, it was all about me back then. It was all about me. The videos, the music, everything was, me type of thing, right? And then this has been it was crazy, because there was a situation that happened where I completely was like, yo, I'm done. I don't ever want to touch this music stuff again. I was depressed. It's like, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to do? And when the time was right, man, I mean, the owner was like, yo, we really want to do a podcast. And that was God working. That was God working right there. And it's been a completely different journey now. You know what I mean? So now it's just, all right, I'm in this boat. We're both in this boat, right? You and I in the middle of the ocean, and God's controlling the wind. Where do you want us to go? I'm not sailing this anymore. This is all you.
Man, it's a blessing to find your identity. And I'm sure you found it. I can see it, bro. You identify as someone who's here, that has compassion for people, that wants to educate the community on what's real. on what's going on out there and why it's going on out there and where it comes from and what we can do to fix it. So
heck yeah, man. Thank you, brother. And I mean, your podcast, Breaking Chains with Rock, I feel like it's such a perfect title. Such a perfect title, bro, for the podcast, and the fact that everything, is coming together. What's going on like with your life now, dog? Talk about the podcast a little bit. Talk about what your goals are for the future. What are some of the things you're working towards now?
Well, basically, like I said, I just started this podcast. Like I said, Breaking Chains with Rock on YouTube.
Yeah.
Subscribe on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're going to put all those links in the description of this episode. So you guys go to that link and you check it out, man. It's video. It's like you're a part of the conversation right there with them.
For sure. I just started TikTok, so I got some TikToks going. What I have planned for the future, bro, is really everything to do with the recovery community, bro. I got both feet in the door, bro.
That's awesome.
Real talk. I'm going like full throttle with this. I work on this every day, bro. Every day, I'm taking notes every day. I'm focusing on what I can do to keep pushing forward. I'm trying to start a movement just like you started, like if, basically your movement's already pushing, bro. So if I come into your movement, we're just going to push harder,
yes, sir.
And I love the connection here. I appreciate the love. And that's my main goal. My main objective is just to create a foundation for the broken, the lost, the confused, the hopeless. I feel you. I was out there, bro. I was homeless.
Wow.
I was homeless. I had a home to go to, but because I was so broken, I had so many chains locked on me, I couldn't even make it home, bro.
It's horrible. That's horrible. And Rock, what are the relationships like now with your family? Like when they see everything you're doing now, your mom, your dad, your sister, what's their response to you now? They're like, yo, who is this person?
Yeah, that part. I mean, it's a lot of love. They just encourage me. They always knew I had it in me, and they're just they're. I mean, like you said, it's crazy when you have all these other things going on in your life that you thought you were gonna take off with, and then you get put in this situation. I mean, it's crazy. Don't miss that opportunity. Don't miss that shot. Once your heart feels it, and it feels like it's gonna be hard, but you have compassion for it. You have a commitment for it. I mean, just stick with it, bro. Because in the beginning, I was like, man, my boy's like, yeah, this podcast and whatnot, and let's do this. And I'm like, let's start this movement. But I had no idea how we were gonna do it. But there's nothing else to do it but to do it.
That's it.
I said, all right, let's meet up tonight. And we got started. Shout out to my boy Orlando Ramos at AZ Crown Productions. He's a photographer as well. He does podcasts for the youth football here in town.
Awesome.
Pop Warner, So, if it wasn't for him, bro, I wouldn't have started that. So, it's like you said, it's crazy how people just reach out, bro. There's so many people affected by this addiction pandemic that's going on, even if you don't have to have a loved one that's affected by it. It could be a coworker's loved one.
Yep.
And that affects your work environment, It's crazy. You have a mom that's just broken, or a dad or a sister or a brother that's broken, that's going through it. They might have 2-3 family members that are out on the streets. And a lot of this addiction now, it's not just like addiction of people at home. They're lost in the streets, bro. Yep. It's even worse. I remember when I was younger, homeless people were older. You remember that?
Yep, I remember. And they just looked like they're wearing like dirty clothes. They didn't look all unmangled and everything like that. They just looked like they were out in the sun all day.
Now it's like broken in spirit, bro. Broken in spirit. I mean, it literally changes their body posture, bro. They're all leaned back, bro, or lean forward. And I've been there, bro. I've been there. That's why, that's why there's so much compassion for it, because I know how they feel. I know exactly how they feel, bro.
Yeah, man. Nah, dude. I mean, what a blessing that you're here and that you're on the other end of this spectrum and you're doing fantastic. I guess my last question for you, dog, before we end this podcast is like, what could you say to somebody out there? Like, I mean, is there even anything you can say to somebody to offer them hope? Well, what's a piece of advice you could give them?
Man, do it now. Whatever you're going through, whatever addiction you're going through, whatever mental problems you're going through, be aware of those problems so you can start fixing them. Be aware of all those things that are bothering you. That's why for me, it's so important to write a journal. Write down how you're feeling. Write it down and do some research. Get yourself some help. There's so many different resources out here. I'm not going to try to shove any belief systems into people. But once I let go and let God, I started thriving.
Amen.
Man, I started thriving. I mean, I've never been so uplifted in my life. I've never been so happy while being healed. Because when you're getting healed, there's all kinds of issues mentally, physically, whatnot. But man, surrendering to God, following Jesus had me shining, bro. I just felt a light, and I couldn't let go. And I'm just getting started, and prayers to everybody going through mental illness, going through addiction, going through stress, going through anxiety. I mean, surround yourself around a community that's going to uplift you, that's going to be there for you, that's going to acknowledge your problems and help you through them.
Amen. Rock, this is it's been a huge honor to have you on here, man. Before we go, and I'm asking you this because I just feel something in my heart is saying this, but how about you and I say a prayer, bro, for all of the listeners that are out there? You down?
Yeah.
All right, man. So, for anyone who's out there, if you're in your car, whatever it may be, go ahead and bow your heads. Make sure you're not driving, though. Keep your eyes open. But, for everyone who's out there, just bow your heads. And, I just want to thank God, come to you with gratitude, Lord, today for bringing my brother Rock here. I'm so thankful for his transformation and for the platform that you've given my brother to be able to speak to people that are out there that are lost, God, in hopes that you could bring them back again. And I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm thankful for ARC and for everyone here, that's allowed this amazing change in people's lives, God. But, for those that are still out there in the streets, we ask that you comfort them, that you touch their heart just the way like my brother Rock said, and that you allow them to open up their heart and mind to the fact that they got to do this now. There's no time better than right now, man. And we thank you for the blessings that you do for us on a daily basis. Just continue to watch over your soldiers out there and let's recruit more souls, man. Let's get more people to you. We love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, man, give it up to our brother, Rock Nunez. Hey, remember one more time, ladies and gentlemen, all of you guys out there, Breaking Chains with Rock. Breaking Chains with Rock. We're going to put all of the links to everything that he's doing, his TikTok, social media accounts. We're going to put everything in the show notes of this episode. Remember, we can, if you guys want to show some love, you can send us a text message. Feel free to send us some positive affirmations about any of the episodes that you've heard here on the podcast, and we will we'll be sure to share those messages of love and joy with our guests and stuff. But until next time, man, thank you guys so much for sticking with us on a weekly basis. For all of the listeners, wherever you're at, we hope you're doing fantastic. We'd love to have you on here to share your testimony, and we will definitely see you guys next week. Much love and God bless. Peace. What's going on, everybody? This is Booda from the ARCast, and I just wanted to thank you for checking out this week's episode. It means a lot, and if you could share it with a friend or a loved one, somebody in need in recovery, or maybe somebody who just needs that little bit of extra positivity in their life, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you would like to join us here on the ARCast, either in the studio live or online, hit us up. The links are down in the show notes of this episode, and on there, you can find direct links to our main website here at America's Rehab Campus and all of our social media platforms. Follow us. We keep the posts positive and motivational, focused on recovery, health, and wellness. As you know, in this modern day and age, we need as much love as possible, y'all. And as always, if you or somebody you know is in need of substance abuse treatment, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're open 24 hours a day, and our direct phone number is 1-833-272-7342. Once again, that phone number is 1-833-272-7342. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Much love and God bless. Peace.